Welcome for the 4th of July special show on Thursday, which, of course, we're going to be rebroadcast first hour tomorrow, Friday the 4th. And, Michelle, you have lots of announcements, so let's take it from the top.
Well, the first announcement, Bill, and the most exciting one is, of course, our sale that will start midnight tonight, July the 4th. And that's going to be Bill's famous tagline there, the 7 for Heaven sale. And that means 7% off of everything, all of our products, and other products too, like the Silver 100 and now we have the Magna Soothe and everything else, India Me's, everything else. Everything's on sale, 7% off. But the interesting part is it's 7% off of the sale prices, and that's where you really, really save. And free shipping, of course, on everything, no matter how much you buy or how little you buy.
So you save enormous amounts, actually. If you have,
yeah, really, they do.
Yeah.
I think we're giving it away. Are we smart here or what?
Well, we're celebrating the 4th with helping everybody as much as we can. There's also another big announcement. It was the international orders. Tell us about that.
Oh, of course, Bill. That's exciting. Guess what? I know it must be, 2 or 3 months, Bill, now that our CNI people over there in Florida, which is our webmaster people, they finally are finished doing the international orders, and all the countries are up. So if you're listening from the UK, Australia, the Philippines, gosh, Bill, where else do we send? We've even sent to China and Hong Kong, and man, you name it. We've sent a lot of products all around the world. Now you can go directly to NutriMedical.com and just go right in there and put in your own information and set up your own, register yourself, because you can register internationally now and place your own orders. However, if you like for us to do it for you, we can still do it for you if you're in that habit and you're a little bit spoiled. But at some point, it's nice to just do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And you may want to know, too, that we decided on a fixed rate for shipping costs, which means, we really don't want to be sending like one little bottle of something all over the planet, because it costs a fortune to ship internationally. So
right.
What we decided to do is it's going to be a nice break for people, all of our friends there in Australia especially, and the UK that order very regularly and they order large amounts. They will have a fixed rate of shipping, and it will not change no matter how much they order. So, isn't that cool?
That's very clever. Okay.
Isn't that cool? Hey,
it is.
Hey.
It is.
Hey.
And by the way,
and isn't it exciting? It's here for July the 4th for Independence Day.
Right, and also I heard that the ageless chocolate's now available, and so that people can
You're
order
right.
ageless chocolate.
That's
now.
one of my other announcements here, is that the ageless chocolate is finally here. We have so many orders for it, I don't get mine yet. I'm going to wait until another week or two till everybody else gets theirs. And then I actually like the vanilla a bit because I mix it with chocolate, so I'm not suffering too much, but I can't wait. The creamy chocolate in that ageless is awesome. And Bill, Independence Day, the 4th of July, I always like to have something to say about it.
Uh-huh.
And I always prowl around and Google this and that. I'm a Google genius on some Fridays.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Notice I said Google genius, not genius. Anyways, I thought it was interesting that I found out that Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, who were involved in the initial declaration, right? They died both on July the 4th, 1826.
Wow.
Interesting tidbit. And then 15 years later, James Monroe died, 1831, on July the 4th. Strange, eh?
Did you ever hear about the vision of George Washington? It's a prophetic vision of George Washington in the future.
Go ahead and tell me.
Well, it's just interesting. I don't want to get into the details. I can perhaps in the third hour.
Interested? This is our fun day. This is July the 4th. Go.
He just talked about a future of America where America was going to go through some crisis but come out even better than ever. And I think of that as being a positive thing on this July 4th, that we've learned a lot of lessons through the last couple of administrations, both Republican and Democrat. Mm-hmm. And America is growing up. I think America is going to become stronger. Despite a lot of the negative things about the world economy and so on, I think we're going to pull through this, especially because the majority, believe it or not, despite Obama, are God-fearing Christians, and we're going to pray for America today and throughout the holidays to try to see if we can get America back on track, because God always has an answer. He always has a pathway for a person's spiritual life, physical life, and the health of the nation. Yeah. And we need to be a leader nation in the world, because a lot of nations are desperate. which is why we have all these kids being dumped on our doorstep from Central and South America, because the drug gangs have taken over these countries, and we can be a leader to clean up the mess and help them make sure they don't have to be desperately trying to get to our shores to save themselves from, gun-toting teenagers, etc.
Oh, I just thought of something while I was looking at you there. Talking about George Washington has got absolutely nothing to do with it. I was thinking of the fact that
Something else.
I want to give an update on the vegetarian thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like 3 weeks. I am so sick of being vegetarian. Like, hello, I need my protein, right? The fish isn't cutting it.
Well, actually,
it's just not cutting it. So last night, I broke it and I had chicken.
Well, actually, we went back
good.
to my previous research.
It was good.
And what we're going to be following, actually, is the George Cruise.
Now we're going to go in another thing.
No, this makes sense. My original research back 34 years ago on diabetes was that elevated insulin caused by our high sugar intake in the Western world is what causes us to get problems with elevated insulin.
And unfortunately, the vegetarian diet has a lot of sugar in it.
Well, it has a lot of fruit, which George Cruise calls
sugar.
nature's candy.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to be doing basically is cutting the carbs dramatically. I personally am also cutting bread.
I know, I can't cut bread, but I'm trying.
You're a breadaholic.
No, I'm not trying. Actually, let's tell the truth.
But I think that the George Cruise diet,
trying.
especially if he's not super high in fat, but he allows nuts. He allows people to have moderate amounts of protein. And, of course, you want to have high-quality protein that's organically raised chickens. Mm-hmm. You want to have Atlantic salmon and fish. You don't want to have Pacific, unless it's locally caught here in Southern California.
He's not like Atkins, where you eat a whole bunch of fat and protein.
No.
This one includes a lot of vegetables.
Tons of vegetables.
I love veggies, and I think.
Well, we call them super carbs, like bok choy and artichoke and peppers and Brussels sprouts and things like that.
The smartest person in the family is probably Christopher, our son, who's 23 years old, and he stays in great shape. Of course, he works out for a couple hours every day. That certainly helps it. And for me, that helps a lot too, Bill. I run every day on the treadmill. I was to a speed walk. I'm just not a run, but a jog.
I work out pretty vigorously now too.
And Christopher always says, just eat in moderation, whatever you like, in moderation, and it works really well for him. So, I mean, we're always doing something.
I don't think so. I think that the key thing in the Western world, even people that aren't prone to gaining weight for example, they discovered some people won't get fat, but they'll have the lipid disorders and the blood vessels of somebody who's obese diabetic. Mm-hmm. And so elevated blood insulin in some people will just cause arthritis, which is why our product leptin metabolic will lower cytokine levels. So those people aren't going to get fat. So you don't look at it and say, you need to cut out things that stimulate insulin. But in fact, the leptin metabolic will lower insulin. It lowers the leptin, and it lowers the cytokines in your joints because you have osteoarthritis.
Well, the reason that I keep going on these things is to help you to lose some.
But also
it's all for
yourself.
You, Bill. If I was living by myself, look, I'm already slim, so I'm not too worried about it.
It's not about a matter of just slimness, because you have a tendency toward issues that will. Cutting down insulin is good for all North Americans.
Yes, I agree. And sugar, I think sugar's
bad. Sugar's the devil.
And I don't have a sweet tooth, except for chocolate.
I do, yes.
Dark chocolate, maybe. Yeah. Okay, let's get into some announcements again, Bill. MagnaSooth. MagnaSooth is back. They had a little bit of regrouping to do there for a couple of months, but they're back. And we have the Magna Smooth Cream, the Magna Charge, the Magna Soothe Oil, and Magna Soap. So that'll be on sale tonight at midnight. And let's see.
You want me to tell you what they're for?
I have to get this in. I talked to Russ, our friend Russ. Hi, Russ, over there in New Hampshire. And I promised him I would get this in the first quarter of our hour.
Right.
And that is that he received his product and he left it in the back of his car. His black leather Porsche. No, I'm just
You're not going to get it in me.
Anyways, okay. We'll keep this going when we come back. But the thing is, he had Living Probiotic 30s and Living Probiotic the 84s in there, and he also wants to know about other products if they got damaged by sitting in the back of the car. Extreme heat. He's going to send me a temperature sometime, but pretty hot, I'd say, in the back of the car like that.
How long? Welcome back with the dynamic Michelle here, trying to answer your questions.
Back with Russ. Russ, hang in there to hear the rest of this for you. And just in case your wife is listening, it wasn't really a Porsche, okay?
Yeah. Well,
just in case you say, where did he get a Porsche? Right?
Yeah, the parameters are how long was it hot and how high was it.
Yeah.
Most of our nutraceuticals will withstand heat for 4 or 5 days at pretty high temperatures, 130 degrees. You don't want to over a period of months, but 4 or 5 days will be fine. A lot of time they'll be fine. Especially the probiotics. We have the Roselle 6 strains for our living probiotic. Our living probiotic ultra is virtually indestructible. It's the special forces of probiotics.
So, and what about any other nutraceuticals? I know the living probiotic.
They're stabilized,
ultra,
so they'll tolerate quite a bit of temperature. They're not going to
like the BH4, for example, we send with cold packs as well as the ultra.
Well, how many hours was it in the car? I mean, that's the key. Is it in there a matter of hours, or
I think it was just the day, just a day.
During the day? Yeah, it'll be fine because if they're
Yeah.
just in there with a cold pack, it'll be fine because in the pack inside the box, it's not going to get as hot as in the actual vehicle itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the key is you don't want it in there for days and days. 4 or 5 days would be bad.
Bill Ron from Ontario wanted me to ask you this question, that he says he's one of the few that his body will not accept a femoral bypass graft, a fem to fem or whatever that is. He said that his body produces, he needs a bypass and he could hardly even walk. And his body produces too much scar tissue.
Just a second, I was talking
Femoral
about...
to femoral, like an artery thingy in his leg, upper leg. And he was just saying, like, why does his body produce so much scar tissue that they can't even go in and do it because it scars up on them as soon as they try to do it? That's up in Canada.
Well, first off, they're usually going to put a Dacron graft if they don't do an arterial graft from himself. Most of the time they're going to put Dacron.
What he's going, it says artery bypass, see?
Yeah, and if you take our enzymes, Inflamax, you'll stop that.
Yeah, I knew we probably have some enzyme.
Inflamax, with 3 capsules twice a day for the average sized man, will stop the formation. You dropped something on the floor. I don't know if it's important.
I don't need it.
Good.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, how about a joke from, let's see, who is this? Raymond from, Manitoba, Canada. And by the way, I hope everyone up in Canada had a great Canada Day. We talked to our friend Blaine, and I know he did.
Oh, yes.
May have had a couple beer. Uh-oh. Anyways, I don't know a Canadian that doesn't have a couple beer. Here's the joke from Manitoba. What has 2 circles on either end and is high in the middle? That's for you. What has 2 circles on either end is high in the middle? It's kind of corny. Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And the next one he said is a juggler driving to his next performance is stopped by the police. What are those machetes doing in your car? Asked the cop. I juggle them in my act. Oh, yeah, says the doubtful cop. Let's see you do it. The juggler gets out and starts tossing and catching the knives. Another man driving by slows down to watch. Wow, says the passerby. I'm glad I quit drinking. Look at the tests they're giving now. That's kind of cute, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's kind of cute. Okay. That is cute. Okay, into the emails. We'll start with Joao from the UK, East Sussex, UK. I have sent already 2 emails for Dr. Bell, and I don't seem to receive an answer. Is he always busy? So I told him, I emailed and said, listen to the show on July the 3rd, and I promise you I'll put you right up at the top there. So here we go. The first one is, can I take all the medicines I ordered at the same time without having any problem, or do I have to take certain medications separated? What he ordered, Bill, was the Alimax and Alimax Cream, the Silver 100, and Zeolite.
No, you can take them all together.
They can go all together, those.
Yeah.
Second, Dr. Bill talks about the importance of drinking clean water. I have been searching about water filters and need a portable one, an efficient one, that can take 100% of the fluoride out of the water and heavy metals. And he goes on to say he found one that's a jug because he can't place one on the taps because he's renting. So he can't.
The Bev 100 snaps in the tap in 2 minutes.
And you can move it.
And you can move it. It's totally portable, yeah. And if you need one for a base station for an emergency, like a shelter or camp, you want the Bev 200 tackle box. It's actually a tackle box with hoses, and it runs on a 12-volt pump that can run off your car battery.
Oh, and it'll get everything out.
And you get everything out.
This is a product that he sent to me for you to look at, but we can't guarantee that it does get the fluoride out and the chlorine.
No. Actually, you can pretty well guarantee it won't.
Okay.
It's not going to get out a lot of the things like radiotoxins, fluoride. A lot of them even let viruses get through.
Yeah, he says, I'm afraid of buying one that doesn't do what it says.
Yeah, you want to have a BEV 100 system that can snap on your tap if you're renting, and a BEV 200 if it's an emergency. BEV 300 goes underneath your sink with a 5-gallon pressure storage tank, and then we have the whole house system, which is also 1/2 to 1/3 the price of the Culligan or any other system. It's easier to service, and the filter changes are a fraction of the cost, and you can do it yourself.
And if you're looking for it on the website, you will go under the products and scroll down to Pure Water Systems, and you can order right there. And if you're having
and you save 10% too if you use NutriMed as your code. NutriMed, you save 10%.
You save 10%
You use the code
That's
NutriMed,
right.
and when you log in, you'll save 10%.
Very good. And also, for anyone that's new listening, and you see the wellness conditions, every week we get lots of questions, why can't I get into the wellness conditions? All it takes is to be a customer, no minimum amount, and then you'll get the username and password to the wellness conditions.
It's good for 6 months because we change the password twice a year.
Yes. Moving along, next is Stephen from Santa Barbara, California. Hello, Dr. Bill and Michelle. Do you carry a UVB light for treatment of psoriasis? I do not use it, or I do not see it on your website.
No. Firstly, UVA is tanning. UVB can burn you, so I think it can cause sun damage. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't recommend a UVB light. What I do recommend to start off with is use Magna Smooth and curcumin cream, and then I would take Allergon and Allerblock, which will help to block the cytokines. What it is, it's interleukin 27 in the prickle cell layer, the dermo-epidermal junction that triggers it off, and you get a thing called a Koebner's reaction, where if you bump yourself, the skin will release the cytokines and cause scaling, those kind of like fishy-like scales of psoriasis. So the key is to cut down the cytokines. There are other things we can add to that protocol for psoriasis, but that would be what I'd start with.
Bill, Beverly from Idaho. I want to get this in for her. Here we go, Beverly. This is really kind of cute. We spend the first 12 months of our children's lives teaching them to walk and talk, and the next 24 years telling them to sit down and shut up, it says, be quiet.
That's
You
funny.
tell them to sit down and be quiet. That's cute. Oh, my God, Pam, I have got to say this. You know, I know it's like overkill on the wine, but I just have to say it. Look at this that she sent me. That's in their kitchen. That hangs in their kitchen. Read it, Bill. You read it.
It says, coffee keeps you busy until it's time to drink wine.
I know. Getting the wine in there.
Yeah,
Thanks,
there you
Pam. Okay. Of course, it's celebration weekend coming up.
Yeah, and of course wine, it lengthens your telomeres, keeps your arteries clear, and they've actually done studies, and people are 40% more likely to do crossword puzzles and be innovative if they have a moderate, we're talking about like 1 glass, maximum 2, of wine if you're a larger person a day.
There you go.
There you go. So
all you teetotalers, take note.
The key is, the reason why they call it wine is if you have a little bit, you won't.
Oh, my God. If when I mention wine, you say that.
If you have a little bit,
robot?
you won't whine.
Are you real? Let me see.
4th of July special questions, I guess. Let's see if we can answer some more questions and help a lot of people. Again, the most important thing is you need to firstly start off in prayer and thanksgiving to God that we have a 4th of July, that we have America. Secondly, that we have pathways to wellness where you still have the right to choose which you're going to do, whether it's the toxic drug way, I call the toxic doc or dino doc way, or the natural way where you can take care of your health and natural supplements and get yourself exercising, detoxing, etc. And that's what's important because you'll lengthen your life tremendously. You'll have a much more abundant life, and you won't have all these side effects, which are really not really side effects. They can pretty well predict this is what's going to happen with many of these drugs. Go ahead.
Are you done?
Yes.
Next is Eric from Vallejo. I think that's how you say it, California.
Vallejo.
Oh, Vallejo.
You're in a different mood today, I can tell. Almost
what do you mean? I can never read these places.
You're in a pre-party mood, I think.
Bill, I can never read these. You should know that by
4th
now.
of July mood, I think. Your mind is already 4th of July. You're actually transported into Friday already.
Hello, Dr. DEAGLE. Recently purchased magnesium glycinate and would like advice on hair loss. I have read that pumpkin seed and borage oil, whatever that is good for reducing hair loss. What product would you recommend for this problem?
Well, the first thing is For hair loss in women, there's several different things you want to approach. The first
Who's
is
the man, Eric.
Eric. Okay, the first thing to do in men and women, male pattern hair loss happens in both, by the way. What you want to do, number one, is you want to use Recidivil hair tonic on the scalp. Take oral Collagen Max and Tendon Mender. Maybe take Mountain Red Velvet to improve hair strength, etc. And then in terms of hormones, what you're trying to do when you use the local Recidivil is you're actually blocking the male hormone at the hair follicle level. And that's how it blocks that. That usually will do the trick. And in women, if they're converting to male hormone, what they also will take is hormone synergy. And that'll block their conversion of female hormone to male because they'll start getting male pattern baldness. And
you know, I hear a lot of response from ladies that are on the Collagen Max.
That's right. That's what I recommend it.
Their hair gets thicker.
Yeah, the hair, Collagen Max, Mountain Red Velvet, Tendon Mender, and of course Recidivil hair tonic, very, very powerful for blocking male hormone at the receptor level in your scalp.
Next is Greg from Arizona. Dr. Bill, I just received the feedback on my labs for blood sugar. I'm in good health and I'm not on any prescription drugs. However, my blood sugar was 102. I would like to get it down to the normal level as close to 85 as I can. I'm 65 years old. Is that possible?
Yes. The research studies show that if you just start off with one or two things, first thing I'd start is dibetaline, 2 capsules twice a day. You might add the chromium cruciferate, 1 capsule twice a day. If that doesn't bring it down, and you can do your own home blood sugar checks, let's say with a one-touch or an AccuCheck or one of these devices. Sort of first morning, a bunch of 2 or 3 mornings a week, and we call 2-hour PC or 2 hours after a larger meal. If it's still elevated fasting, then what I would do is probably add Biotin Plus and Leptin Metabolic.
Okay. Next is Sarah from up the road here in South Orange County, California. What do I take to get rid of this? I was at the doctor today, and they stated I have diastolic dysfunction. I am 53 years old, and I thought I was in great shape, and I've had 2 accidents at work and 1 at Ruby's Diner.
Right.
Email me and give your beautiful wife a hug for me. Oh, that's Sarah. That's very generous.
That's very nice.
Very generous.
Okay.
Thank you.
When the doctors talk diastolic dysfunction, they mean you're basically having trouble with the filling phase of your heart. That usually means most of the time right-sided heart failure, which will cause edema of your legs, and you can get pulmonary edema in your lungs. So your body can start to swell. Most of the time, there's 3 major causes of that. The first and most common is obstructive sleep apnea. And most doctors are very, very poor at diagnosing and finding an obstructive sleep apnea until it's very progressive, like somebody's been swollen for years, or they have choking spells at night, or hypopneas. First test to do is a home oximetry. If it's positive, you need a full sleep study. You may need CPAP, which is up to 20 centimeters of water, or BiPAP above that, where they give you an inspiratory pressure and an other pressure. Next thing that's most likely is silent coronary artery disease, where they actually have coronaries that are blocked, or partially blocked, or in spasm. They may not be actual blocked, but in spasm at night, and that part of the heart is contracting. The third is that due to heavy metal poisoning from mercury or other heavy metals, and or you're taking a drug that blocks CoQ10, like a statin drug, that'll block CoQ10. The way to correct that to start with is CoQ10 Supreme. I recommend both. Now, this is important to have both, because your body has to back convert the ubiquinol to the CoQ10 Supreme. For a woman, 3 capsules, soft gels twice a day of the CoQ10 Supreme ubiquinol, and for a man, 4 to 5, depending on their size, twice a day. And then the CoQ10 Supreme, 1 bite into a soft gel at least 3 times a day, and hold it under your tongue. Next is to take Supernox, 2 caplets 3 times a day, or 3 twice a day for a man and woman. You can increase the dosage for a man. Cardivite, at least 2 capsules 3 times a day for a man, and 1 capsule 3 times a day for a woman. Gamma E+, and of course to raise the contractility of the heart, we use ALC 1000 and D-ribose, half a teaspoon of each, in water or juice or smoothie, like the glycemic smoothie, at least 2 to 3 times a day. And that, along with magnesium glycinate, will strengthen the heart, because it's a big problem. It's congestive heart failure. It's one of the most common diagnoses nowadays.
Oh, really?
And it's and basically that's how you reverse it. If you need a detox, remove the heavy metals. And if they contact me, even this lady will give her a more comprehensive protocol. But you have to check all those factors, especially the first one of obstructive apnea.
Next is Alberto from Brentwood, California. Dear Dr. DEAGLE, I am writing to you to request some help to have my smart meter removed, as well as to find out what legal remedies I may have in the willful abuse of power by the city of Brentwood,
Right.
as well as other persons involved. I am a retired U.S. Army veteran and currently living in Brentwood. Since 2013, I have been suffering because of the smart meter. My health is at a dangerous risk.
Right.
I have much more information about this meter and associated lines, and I'm frying on a daily basis. The left side of my face has a blister that's been tormenting me for over 3 years. He's tried through attorneys and so on. So I'll give this to you, Bill, to help him. That's for you.
You want me to give any quick steps? The first thing to do,
Yes.
just send a letter to the Public Utilities Board. They don't have a federal law supporting that they have to opt in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you notify the utility that you've paid your bill up to date and you continue to plan on paying your bill, including a utility fee that they're going to charge you, which is, by the way, unjust and enrichment by RICO. And then you tell them that if they don't remove it by a certain date, you're going to get an electrician to remove the meter and put an analog meter in, and you make sure there will be access so the reader can actually read your meter. And if they won't comply, which most of the time they will because they realize the utilities boards are going to be on the chopping block, then you swap out your meter and serve them a legal notice and make sure you have alternate backup power. So you have, I recommend a 20 kilowatt Generac generator, which is a good option for a home or apartment. And then just go ahead and do it. And what you'll find is that they'll cave and they will not try to enforce it. And if they do, you'll just be part of a new class action suit, which is going to develop this next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, and I'll give you, there's his email too. Next is Trevor from Australia, and he, first of all, he was asking something about the new shipping costs, what they would be, and I explained that to him, that it's a fixed rate. Love Bill's show, especially hour 3. There you go. I was going to say something. Anyways, okay.
He likes the preparedness stuff and the Earth changes martial law and even the plagues, Ebola. And,
a lot of people like hour 3. It's really good.
Yeah, we have John Moran Morrison. Sometimes Professor McCanney will pop in, or we have other experts like Robert Felix.
Oh, because we're not here this Friday, when will that be?
That'll be next Friday. And, of course, John's on next Monday, which we'll do prepping. We'll often have other guests like we had.
So that'll be next Friday night.
Yeah, we had Bob Ellerton from Turtletop Shelters on, because he's a prepper expert, too, with John on this past Monday.
I better not be on the same time as him. Anyways, do you have any specials for someone like me with stroke-induced poor muscle tone in my legs? Cheers, Trevor.
Yes, in fact, transcranial stimulation with Soma Pulse and Lumen Photon will help on the brain. Neurogen, Cognition Plus Brain Power are very helpful for the brain. And CoQ10 Supreme Ubiquinol.
And all that's on sale. He's looking for a special.
Right,
Trevor,
but
it's all on sale.
Transcranial stimulation with Soma Pulse and Lumen Photon helps to stimulate the neural pathways.
Great. And you can take advantage of the sale since you wanted a special.
Indeed. I think you're whistling because you're getting close to the end of your last segment here, Michelle. You're almost in party mode, I guess, right?
I do have some work to do.
Yeah, I know you do.
To be honest. Denise from Washington State. Dear Nutrimedical, the blood vessels in my nasal passage have always been close to the surface. I regularly have issues with bloody noses. I could gently exhale and receive one. Wow. What NutriMeds would you recommend to control these?
2 Vein Away and Collagen Max.
Okay.
That'll strengthen the connective tissues, and the Vein Away will strengthen the blood vessel fragility. That's why it stops spider nevi, varicose veins, and helps both artery and vessels throughout your body.
Okay.
And Collagen Max 1 twice a day, Vein Away 1 to 2 twice a day. It also protects the kidney and the glomeruli.
Good. Next is Jordan from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I'm Jordan, and I've listened to dozens of your Nutrimedical reports and many of your videos on YouTube regarding various topics. I also get as much Lorraine Moray in my life as possible and enjoyed the interview the two of you had. I'm reaching out today to gain better solidarity on the best course of action for a radiation detox. I seem to remember you mentioning a core program that you recommended on air sometime. And he can't find it. He's on the website, and he can't find. What is your core for? Radiation
detox. I can give you just the core, and then you can go to the wellness conditions. First off, you have radiotoxins, so you want to be taking Keeler Max 2 to 4 capsules twice a day, and that's the dosage for Keeler Max for radiotoxins. You want to take
No, but just for every day. He goes on to say, I have multiple family members interested in both of these detoxes and keen on your liquid zeolite and other products.
Yeah, well, that's...
Now, when it's just a regular person
regular
like me,
detox.
I take 1 Keelermax because that's all I need, is 1.
Well, if you showed up if you showed up on either the QRMA or on a blood test, let's say RBC...
Yeah, if it was. But he's saying as a preventative, Bill. Let's give the preventative for a family of what the regular person would take.
Yeah, regular male or female.
Yeah.
Most people in North America have heavy metals in their system because it's in the food, it's in the water.
That's true.
Yeah, so you're going to take 2 capsules of Cleaner Max morning and night, and you take 13 drops of liquid.
That's initially to get things going. Is that correct?
No, that's your average detox. That's what's called the back phase, and those are the 2. And for chemicals, it's xenoestrogen detox and NutriDefense. Those are the 4 things.
The reason I say that is this next line says, what would be the economical detox?
Okay, if I were going to take absolute the minimum, I would take probably Keeler Max, 1 to 2 capsules twice a day. And for the chemicals, I take NutriDefense, 1 capsule to 2 capsules twice a day.
There you go. Hey, high five. High five.
Yeah.
There you go. I try so hard. Here we go. Next, Bill, is Lieutenant Colonel Nicholas. Dr. DEAGLE, my wife has recurring colitis with some blood in her stool. The last part of her colon has inflammation. Would GastroHeal help cure her condition? And thanks for the good work.
Yes, it would help. I would also add, besides the GastroHeal, I would probably add the immunoglobulins Ageless, or taking the Immunomax capsule or powder, or the Nutrimune capsules. I take Living Probiotic twice a day and Living Probiotic Ultra every second or third day. And to stop the inflammation of the lower bowel, I'd, number 1, cut out GMO foods and gluten. And then I would take probably something like Colon Cleanse to try to cleanse the lower bowel and the diverticuli. The bowel is going to be inflamed, so I would start off with things like lactose blocker and gastrozyme, because you're probably not digesting your food properly. And that'll help tremendously breaking up adhesions and also the fibrous we call fecalis in the diverticuli. So the gastrozyme and digestes are helpful to improve digestion and also diverticuli in the lower colon. The GastroHeal, what it does is it's zinc carnosine, which coats all the way from your throat to your lower GI tract, and it'll help to speed healing. So it has carnosine to block the inflammatory reaction and zinc to speed the healing of the connective tissues.
Good.
Yeah.
Next is Dan. Hey, Dan, from Indiana. In fact, Indianapolis, Indiana. Since I don't usually say the city, but Dan, in your case, I will. Hi, Michelle. I have run my very first QRMA report. It was easy and fascinating. Wow. Now I'm ready to submit it. But do you guys have any fill-in-the-blank form I can use to record my medical history? How do I organize this information? That's something you were talking about.
I talked about it before, but I think you said, no, you shouldn't do that. I'm thinking maybe I should.
I think Bill's right. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'll keep it really simple though. It'll be. I'll give you the headers basically.
All right.
Basically, chief complaints, review of symptoms, and I'll go head to toe.
Yeah.
I can even put symptoms out there so they can circle them.
Okay.
Okay. Then past medical history, past nutraceutical history, past surgical history, substances of abuse, alcohol, marijuana, tobacco, crystal meth amp, whatever.
Good grief.
Right. They can mark it all in. Family history.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, then we talk.
So that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then, of course, any investigations they've had done, conventional, alternative investigations, whatever. Any family history of any known specific diseases that are present. And then these fancy tests they've had. If they had 23andMe gene tests done before they got shut down last December, organic acids at Great Plains Lab, or really fancy stuff. Then I need to know that. And if they can attach those as a file, that helps a lot. Because I analyze everything. So
you want to do that, don't you?
Well, when I put it together, believe it or not, I analyze and read it all, and I kind of put it
Maybe
together.
it is an extra work for you. Maybe you could make it easier.
I've been doing this for so many years. I just process it, and then to me, it's easy.
It definitely
to
makes
others, maybe not so easy. To me, it's easy.
It makes it easier for the
I get an accurate.
It makes it easier for them.
For them to actually fill it in, and it also doesn't leave holes.
Yeah.
And then when I mix it with the QRMA, and if they do a narrative, like if they just do a little story, it makes it very much more accurate.
Okay. Next is Phil in an email. Dr. DEAGLE, my wife has Lyme disease. What should or can we do? That's another common one.
Okay, so 3 factors in Lyme. We kill the pathogens. We're the triple threat: Nutridyne, Allicin Med, Alamax, Elamed. or Silver 100, all three. Then I recommend immunoglobulins, Nutrimune or Immunomax, which is also an ageless. And then we want to stop the cytokines. We use Allergon and Allerblock. And we want to build up the mitochondrial function because the cytokines are jamming the mitochondria. So we use CoQ10, CoQ10 Supreme Ubiquinol, acetyl-L-carnitine, Cognition Plus because it affects the brain power, fatty acids to repair the damaged cell membranes, Nutrifos, Neurogen, Omega Cod Liver Liquid, Omega Supreme Krill, energetics. We talk about mitocarnitine, mitochondrial catalyst, uridine, triacetyluridine, and if we use that's talk about everything. But in most cases, they'll respond to something simple like kill the pathogens off, get the cytokines blocked, and rebuild the tissues. And those three categories we can get people feeling better usually within 2 to 6 weeks.
It's most common up in the upper East Coast, isn't it?
Yes, there is some as far as west, and there's Lyme-like parasites out west here, but they're not as common. Yeah, babesiosis or lichiosis, but it's not as common. There's other weird bugs out, like in New Mexico, hantavirus, which is very nasty.
What's that cucamonga thing or whatever?
Chikungunya.
What is that?
That's another pathogen that's usually spread in tropical areas like Central America.
Is that around here, though? In Arizona, though, I heard.
Yeah, it's actually come up as far as Arizona, but it's usually present in Central South America or in Asia.
And what is it?
It's another parasite.
Just another parasite. That's okay. Next is Tom Bill from Wisconsin. Dr. Bill, I'm a customer from Wisconsin. My 13-year-old nephew, Henry, has had mono for a few months. I have an array of your NutriMeds, including the Allicin, the Nutridyne, and Silver 100. Any recommendations on these three and or others, including recommended dosage for him? I can't convince my sister to allow me to give him Silver 100. Unfortunately, she saw the blue-faced man video on YouTube, and no matter how hard I try, I can't convince her that Silver 100 won't turn you blue.
Well, the dosage of silver is going to get is 1/3 the dosage that the EPA recommends that are in food. So that's with our silver because it's 100% ionic state. But I'd recommend, even if you only stick to the two, give about 20 drops of Nutridyne 3 times a day for him, and give him Allicin Med, at least a capsule 3 times a day. Give things to stop the cytokines, which are Allergon and Allerblock, a capsule of each 3 times a day. High-dose Power C and full vitamin K2.
A capsule of each of those?
Yes, because you're trying to stop the cytokines, because there's a lot of cytokines caused by mononucleosis. And if you look at, they actually measure them. I did a great plane at the Immunosciences Lab in Los Angeles with Dr. Risto Vujadani, who I did research on back in the early 80s with UCLA. If you measure their blood levels, they're off into orbit. And you can, high-dose Power C with full vitamin K2, the cytokines will usually shut it down very nicely. In fact, you can shut down even the cytokines in Rocky Mountain spotted fever with high-dose Power C and vitamin K2,
Good. So that's what he can add.
Yeah.
Well, my dear, happy 4th of July to everybody. Enjoy your barbecues, your family, your friends, and remember to be thankful to God. I know I don't have to tell you that because we all remember to thank God at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And God bless you. And keep you safe during this holiday. And Bill's coming back in the next hour, and I am going, to work. Back to work. Yeah. But I will be a free woman. At 4 o'clock, I'm free.
You're going to work, but you're in a pre-party mode.
I am. I'm going to grab you at 4 o'clock.
Sounds fun.
Drag you right out of the